There was the murder of children. JJ was the most innocent of all of this, a 7-year-old autistic child.
The prosecution rested its case in Chad Daybell's murder trial today, but not without a roadblock. Welcome to the News at 4. I'm Brenda Rodriguez.
And I'm Joe Paris. Ada County Judge Stephen Boyce pointed out an inconsistency in the state's recently amended indictment related to the alleged murder of J.J. Vallow. Let's get right out the door to the Ada County Courthouse to Morgan Romero. Morgan's been following this really all day and these new developments just happening this afternoon. Morgan, Judge Boyce just made a decision about the issue during a hearing. What do we know?
In that hearing that ended just moments ago, Judge Stephen Boyce, who's overseeing this case, denied the defense's request for an acquittal on that murder charge regarding J.J. Vallow, as well as all other counts on that indictment. Boyce acknowledged that this inconsistency, as you mentioned, was not done on purpose. However, he is still considering how he is going to move forward and remedy this issue with jurors. Here's what happened. After the prosecution rested their case, the judge called out what prosecutors called a clerical mistake in the charging document. Prosecutors changed the governing indictment against Chad in February of this year, and under count 4, first-degree murder of J.J. Vallow, they put the wrong dates. The amended indictment said J.J. was killed on or between September 8th and 9th of 2019, but that's when Tylee was killed. The document didn't match the evidence presented throughout trial or the initial indictment from 2021, which states that prosecutors believe J.J. was killed between the 22nd and 23rd of September. An hour and a half ago, the prosecution presented 3 options. 1, they said the judge could correct the indictment since they never intended to change that count regarding J.J. 2, they said the judge could accept a variance and give the jury new instructions about it. Or 3, they said Judge Boyce could reopen the case. Chad's defense attorney John Pryor, meanwhile, argued Idaho criminal rules state an indictment can be amended only before the prosecution rests.
And Your Honor, we're all kind of falling on our sword here. This was clearly an oversight. We're talking about a clerical error in a subsequent document that was not in the initial document. This is exactly the type of mistake or inadvertence that the court could reopen this case for.
The specificity of 7E doesn't say the court has the authority to go back and allow them to reopen. It doesn't say they have the authority to go back and create a variance. It doesn't say they have a right to go back and make a correction. What it does say is they may and they have to make any amendments or corrections prior to resting their case. There's nothing else that says, well, we got a little bit of wiggle room here and let's let them change things after they rest their case. And 4 lawyers had a chance to look at this indictment. 4 lawyers have had over a year to analyze this.
The 4 prosecutors appeared shocked when Judge Boyce revealed the information this afternoon. JJ's grandpa, Larry Woodcock, was also confused, surprised, and disheartened. Before that hearing that just wrapped up, he told me it seemed to be a technical issue.
Right now, it's very confusing. I'm very disappointed. I'm very hurt. And I don't know what the ruling's going to be. Nobody does. But I just hope, as I've said all along, I just want a fair, just, and honorable and righteous ruling by the court. It's very disheartening to me, but I will be strong. I will be confident that this issue will be worked out, and I hope that the murder of JJ will be kept in evidence.
And again, that is what happened. That count was not acquitted. Again, Judge Boyce said he thinks he needs time to figure out how he's going to remedy this error, whether he'll have to give the jury new instructions or formally correct the indictment. He says he'll issue a follow-up order about that. Joe and Brenda.
Morgan, you mentioned the remedy. I know this is all developing, but do we know if Judge Boyce has a timeline in terms of when that remedy will be rolled out? I can imagine that the defense would really like to have that timeline.
Yeah, the prosecution and the defense, right? Because this is really for the jurors, and the jurors need those instructions, or that indictment needs to be amended before they ever deliberate. And we are expecting John Pryor to present his case next week. I don't believe that we have court tomorrow. We're still working to confirm that, but we do expect John Pryor to present his case. And as soon as he's done with that, the jury will need that information. So I know that Judge Stephen Boyce, he wanted to hear this today. He wanted to make a decision about this today because he wants to remedy this quickly. So we will, of course, keep everybody posted on the outcome of that.
Well, thank you so much, Morgan. And a lot of new information today. You can catch up on this entire case over on our website at ktvb.com. Thank you, Morgan.